to the online library project where we learn English and spend our time comfortably and usefully. Today we are going to work with cardinal and ordinal numbers. We are also going to revise some more of the vocabulary on the topic Our Legendary Past, learn about who King Alfred was, and read a legend in English about our great Moldovan leader Ștefan cel Mare. We are also going to revise the rules of using the articles. But first, let us revise the cardinal numbers. So the cardinal numbers are the ones that we have been practicing since we first started learning English. Here on the screen you can see the numbers and their spelling. But what about their pronunciation? Now I'm going to tell you a number in Romanian and you have to pronounce it in English. 7. If you said 7, it is correct. 4, 4, 9, 9, 11, 11, 6, 6, 13, 13, 17, 17, 19, 19, 15, 15, 10, 10, 20, 20, 26, 26, 22, 22, 30, 30, 35, 35, 38, 38, 40, 40, 47, 47, 63, 63, 78, 78, 82, 82, 91, 91, 100, 100, 104, 104. Okay, very good. Now, let us practice the ordinal numbers. The ordinal numbers answer the question, which one? În limba română, a câta, al câtelea. For example, primul, prima. In English, the first. Al doilea, a doua. In English, the second. Al treilea, a treia. In English, the third. Al patrulea, a patra, the fourth. And so on. Here on the screen, you can see the table and the way we form the ordinal numbers in English. But let us practice the ordinal numbers a little. Al șaptelea. The seventh. A 15-a. The 15th. A 27-a. The 27th. Al 35-lea. The 35th. Al 73-lea. The 73rd. Al 82-lea. The 82nd. Al 98-a. The 98th. Okay, good. Now, we are going to read the following. So we have here the month, the date, the year. Please be very careful with year numbers, because when we have a year, we usually divide the year in two parts. So, 1839 is divided into 18 and 39. So it will be 1839. So the first one, 15 octombrie 1839, in English is going to be the 15th of October or October 15th, 1839. 10 februarie 1840. The 10th of February 1840. Secolul al IX-lea. The 9th century. Secolul al X-lea. The 10th century. William al IV-lea. William the 4th. Elizabeta I. Elizabeth the 1st. Elizabeta a doua. Elizabeth the 2nd. Henry al VIII-lea. Henry the 8th. Okay, now you can practice more with the ordinal numbers when reading books about kings and queens in the past, but as I promised at the beginning of the lesson, we are going to revise some more vocabulary on the topic our legendary past and learn who King Alfred was. So look at this short text and let us work together on completing the sentences with the words from the box. First, read the sentences and identify which part of speech is necessary for each gap. Some of the words might be unknown to you. For example, century, secol. During, în timpul. He ordered monks to write books. Monks, călugări. A ordonat călugărilor să scrie cărți. Introduced his own laws. A introdus propriile legi. He also fought lots of. A luptat cu mulți. And we have the Vikings, vikingii. Okay. So let us see what parts of speech, ce părți de vorbire, are necessary for each gap. For example, King Alfred's what? Ce? Was England. He did what? Ce a făcut el în secolul IX? He did what in the 9th century? During his what? În timpul a ce Alfred wanted to educate his people? He invited who or whom? Pe cine a invitat să vină din Europa? He also fought lots of what? A luptat multe ce? His what? Ce erau a lui? Vikingii, ce erau pentru el? He often did what? Ce anume a făcut el foarte des? And he often did what? So his army to do what against the Vikings? So let us see what are the words that we need to complete the sentences with and to learn who King Alfred was. So the first one is the word fight. It is a noun, este substantiv, it means luptă. Reigned, past simple, a domnit. Motherland, patrie, substantiv. Reign, domnie, substantiv. Battles, lupte, substantiv. Enemies, dușmani, it is a noun. Gathered, a aduna, verb. Teachers, profesor, este substantiv, it is a noun. So let us complete the sentences with these words from the box and learn who King Alfred was. King Alfred's motherland was England. He reigned in the 9th century. During his reign, Alfred wanted to educate his people. He invited teachers to come from Europe. He ordered monks to write books. He introduced his own laws. He also fought lots of battles. His enemies were the Vikings. He often gathered his army to fight against the Vikings. Now let us work a little bit with this text. What did King Alfred order the monks to do? And if you look in the text, you can see that King Alfred ordered the monks to write books. Who were invited to come from Europe? And some teachers were invited to come from Europe. Where did King Alfred live? So he lived in England. When did King Alfred reign? He reigned in the 9th century. How did King Alfred win the battles with the Vikings? He gathered all his army. Why did he invite teachers and order monks to write books? De ce regele Alfred a vrut și a chemat profesori și a dat comandă călugărilor să scrie cărți? Because he wanted to educate the people. So we can see that the Vikings were very strong and they fought a lot with King Alfred. Let us find out who Vikings were. Here we have a text about the Vikings, but there are some articles missing. And before completing that text, let us revise what are the articles and when do we use the articles. So first we have the articles, the indefinite article e, or en, and the definite article there, which we have the rules here. So the indefinite article is used for objects that are not specific or one of several things of a similar type. And we have here an example, I need a phone. Another rule, an indefinite article is used the first time we introduce an object. I saw a movie last night. It is also used as synonyms for number one. They bought a computer. They bought one computer. They bought a computer. And an indefinite article is used to indicate one of a group. She is a singer. Now, the definite article is used for specific objects or object that both the speaker and listener know. For example, can you give me the books on the table? Cărțile de pe masă? The definite article is used when we mention the object again. The movie is based on a real-life incident. Filmul este bazat. It is used before plural countries or other plural regions and bodies of water, for example, the Netherlands. And it is used before certain adjectives to give a plural meaning, the rich, bogatashi. Now, as we have revised the rules, let us read the text and complete it with the right articles when necessary. So we have to fill in with the right articles. The Vikings were brave people who came from Scandinavia. In the 9th and 10th centuries, they traveled to many lands, including the British Isles. They were, and we have no article here, they were violent people and fought with iron, swords, and spears. They wore helmets with horns on them. The Vikings invaded England in the 9th century when King Alfred ruled the country. So if you have the same answers, then you are correct. Now, we know a lot about Queen Victoria, King Alfred, the Vikings, but our country has amazing and strong leaders too. Do you recognize this historical personality? What is his name? When was he our leader? If you recognize Ștefan cel Mare, then you are truly a patriot and you live your life with dignity. Today we are going to read a legend about our great leader. During his reign, Ștefan cel Mare, Ștefan Vodă, fought lots of battles. He won most of them. Once, at the beginning of Ștefan Vodă's reign, the Turks defeated him, l-au învins. Little remained of his army. Weak and tired, slăbit și obosit, Ștefan Vodă came to the convent where his mother lived, la mănăstirea unde locuia mama lui. He asked for shelter. A cerut adăpost. His mother approached the door and said, s-a apropiat de ușă și a spus, My son, I think that you have returned with victory. No, mother. The Turks defeated my army. The enemy is on my tracks. I hope to find shelter in your convent and gather my remaining forces. Then I'll be ready to fight again. I can't give shelter to those who run away from the battlefield. Go and defeat the enemy of our motherland. Win the battle or die for your land. Only then I will know that you are my son. Ștefan Vodă went away. He gathered the remains of his army and finally defeated the Turks. The battle took place in Valea Albă. Now let us work with the text a little. What happened to Ștefan cel Mare that he decided to come to his mother in the convent? So his army was defeated by the Turks. Era înfrânsă de turci and he was tired, he was weak. Who were the enemies of Moldova under the reign of Ștefan cel Mare? Cine erau inamicii pe timpul Ștefan cel Mare? The Turks. Where did Ștefan cel Mare decide to find shelter after his defeat? So he wanted to find shelter in his mother's arms. How did his mother convince him to go and defeat the Turks? Cum l-a convins mama lui să se ducă să se lupte cu turcii? His mother motivated him to become a winner. L-a motivat să devină un învingător and not lose hope. Why didn't his mother receive Ștefan cel Mare at the convent? De ce nu l-a primit mama la mănăstire? Because his mother knew that if Ștefan cel Mare did not fight anymore, the Turks would conquer Moldova, ar cuceri Moldova, and would destroy Ștefan cel Mare, her beloved son. Where did the battle take place? And if you say that the battle took place in Valea Albă, then you are correct. This is the legend about our great leader Ștefan cel Mare. Now it is reflection time. I advise you to read a story or some stories about our Moldovan heroes who fought the enemies of our lands. And remember, we must be proud of being the ancestors of Ștefan cel Mare. Have a great time reading!